debt relief plan. Just a short time ago, the president coming before the cameras, vowing the fight is not over. In a 6-3 decision, the conservative justices delivering a huge blow to the president's agenda, ruling he doesn't have the authority to erase $400 billion in debt for 43 million Americans without congressional approval. President Biden now revealing an alternative plan with federal loan payments set to resume in October. Republicans, including GOP presidential candidates, quick to praise today's rulings. The justices also dealing a blow to LGBTQ rights in America on the last day of Pride Month. The court setting the tone with its supermajority. And another major case already on the docket for next term. Rachel Scott at the White House, Terry Moran in Washington. Also tonight, 200 million Americans under severe weather, dangerous heat, and air quality alerts heading into the July 4th weekend. New York City reporting the worst air quality in the world. The heat dome expanding from California to Florida. The heat index reaching up to 120 degrees in some places. Rob Marciano tracking it all. Tonight, all of this unfolding with record holiday travel well underway. More than 50 million people on the move. Trevor Ault with the best and worst times to drive this weekend. The scathing report on the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. The State Department blaming the Trump and Biden administrations for the chaotic end to America's longest war. The images coming in, authorities cracking down on violent protests in France. Violence erupting for a fourth night following the police killing of a teenager during a traffic stop. Here at home, tens of thousands of actors threatening to go on strike in a matter of hours. Hundreds of top stars, including Meryl Streep and Jennifer Lawrence, saying they're prepared to strike, joining writers who have been on the picket lines for 2 months. And tributes tonight to actor Alan Arkin, Oscar and Tony winner, comically cranky with a flair for the dramatic.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. It's great to have you with us on this Friday night. I'm Wade Johnson in for David. And we begin with two major decisions by a sharply divided Supreme Court. One pitting gay rights against free speech. The other blocking student loan relief for millions of Americans. That decision, a major blow to President Biden's agenda and one of his key campaign promises. Tonight, the president is vowing to keep fighting, pledging to find other ways. Chief Justice John Roberts writing for the conservative supermajority that the president had overstepped his authority, using pandemic emergency powers to forgive loans for 40 million Americans at a cost of $430 billion. 26 million people had already applied. President Biden coming before the cameras today, acknowledging his own disappointment, but saying today's decision closed one path. Now we're going to pursue another. His new plan, though, Biden admits, will take time to get underway. And tonight, Republicans applauding the court's decision. ABC's Rachel Scott leads us off at the White House.
Tonight, in a major blow to the Biden agenda, the Supreme Court blocking the president's sweeping plan to cancel $430 billion in federal student loan debt. In a 6-3 decision, the conservative majority ruling the administration overstepped its authority by forgiving the debt without approval from Congress. Chief Justice John Roberts, writing the Education Secretary, did not have the power to rewrite that statute from the ground up. In a dissenting opinion, Justice Elena Kagan, writing, this court today decides that some 40 million Americans will not receive the benefits the plan provides, because, so says the court, that assistance is too significant. Tonight, President Biden vowing to try again with a new debt relief plan under a different law, the Higher Education Act, but he warned it's going to take time.
We'll use every tool at our disposal to get you the student debt relief you need and reach your dreams. It's good for the economy. It's good for the country.
Biden's original plan to forgive up to $20,000 for some borrowers was the fulfillment of a campaign promise. 26 million Americans have already applied for the relief, like Renee Moya, who has $62,000 in student loans and recently took out a new mortgage.
I do feel like this is we find ourselves in a situation where, because of that promise, a lot of us, literally tens of millions of us, made decisions with our lives to move forward. Whatever life choices we made explicitly with the understanding that the president was going to get student loan cancellation done.
Starting in October, borrowers will also have to restart their federal loan payments when a 3-year pandemic pause comes to an end. But the president today said those borrowers will not face default for the first 12 months if they can't make those payments, though interest will still accrue. The administration will also roll out a new repayment plan for borrowers that will cap monthly payments at 5% of income, a plan the White House says could save Americans $1,000 a year. Republicans had argued Biden's original plan was unfair to people who already paid back their loans or didn't go to college because of costs. And tonight, Republican presidential candidates celebrating the ruling.
And can I just say, God bless the Supreme Court. They are making a lot of wrongs right.
Late today, the president pressed on whether he gave Americans false hope.
I didn't give borrowers false hope, but the Republicans snatched away the hope that they were given, and it's real hope.
The president defending his plan today. Rachel Scott joining us now from the White House. And Rachel, after the court's decision, where does this leave the 26 million people who already applied for the program?
Well, Whit, tonight an administration official tells me that it will be months before they can even finalize the details of this backup plan. And it's still not clear if the 16 million people who were previously approved would have to reapply. The bottom line, this can still face legal challenges, which would once again bring this program to a halt. Whit.
So a lot of questions about the way forward. Rachel, thank you. Now to that other major case pitting gay rights against free speech. The High Court, by a 6-3 margin, ruling that a Christian web designer can refuse to create a wedding website for same-sex couples because it would violate her right to free speech. In her dissent, Justice Sonia Sotomayor called it the first time in history the court has allowed businesses to discriminate. ABC's senior national correspondent Terry Moran in Washington tonight.
At the Supreme Court, a First Amendment ruling with far-reaching consequences. The court's conservative supermajority declaring that Denver area website designer Lorie Smith has a constitutional right to refuse to design wedding websites for gay couples. The court holding that Colorado's public accommodations law, which requires businesses that serve the general public to serve all equally, does not apply in cases where the product or service being offered expresses a message. And forcing Smith to serve gay couples, the court reasoned, would be compelling her to speak a message she does not believe in, violating her First Amendment rights. Justice Neil Gorsuch, writing for the court's conservatives, declaring, "The First Amendment envisions the United States as a rich and complex place where all persons are free to think and speak as they wish, not as the government demands." Upholding the Colorado law in this case, Gorsuch added, would mean that the government could force an unwilling Muslim movie director to make a film with a Zionist message, or compel an atheist muralist to accept a commission celebrating evangelical zeal. In dissent with her outnumbered liberal colleagues, Justice Sonia Sotomayor called the ruling profoundly wrong, arguing that it endows certain businesses open to the public with a constitutional right to refuse to serve members of a protected class. And she offered her own examples of what might follow. A website designer could equally refuse to create a wedding website for an interracial couple, for example. A stationer could refuse to sell a birth announcement for a disabled couple because she opposes their having a child. For Lorie Smith, who says her religious beliefs compel her refusal to serve gay couples with their wedding websites, vindication.
Free speech is for everyone, and the court affirmed today that the government cannot force anyone to say something it doesn't believe.
Colorado's Attorney General dismayed.
When a business opens its doors to the public, they've got to serve everybody. Today, for the first time, there's now exceptions to that rule, and that exception is going to do untold damage.
Terry Moran back with us now. And Terry, beyond just this one case, in just the past 24 hours, the court's conservative supermajority is again firmly putting its stamp on American life.
And there is more to come with. It's the Supreme Court the conservatives have long hoped for, and those justices, it seems like they've got a bit between their teeth, and they are looking for cases that can have big impacts, already taking up for next year a major gun rights case. And the question, can people who are subject to court orders for domestic violence be prohibited from buying guns? Wait.
Terry Moran, thank you for your coverage this whole week from the Supreme Court. We appreciate it. Now to the other major news we're following this Friday night. Extreme weather coast to coast as the holiday weekend begins. More than 200 million Americans on alert. Severe storms downing trees in eastern Indiana. More bad weather from Colorado to Kentucky and heading east. Also today, New York City with the worst air quality for a major city in the world. Alerts in at least 19 states. And the excessive heat in the south spreading east and now to the west. ABC's senior meteorologist Rob Marciano tracking it all.
Tonight, millions facing extreme weather from coast to coast. Midwestern storms reloading after a violent 24 hours. And New York City covered in haze for a second day.
The AQI, that is 155, still very hazy, and that is unhealthy for everyone.
The Big Apple taking the top spot for the world's worst air for a major city. And across the South, record-breaking temperatures again, and even higher heat indexes. And west of Dallas in Colorado City, Texas, residents there have been without water for nearly a week. Our Maria Villarreal in Fort Worth, where first responders are worried.
With this happening this early in the season and this response volume has been crazy, we're planning for the worst the rest of the summer.
That stubborn dome of heat set to power more severe storms. Overnight, winds gusting to 100 miles an hour in the Midwest. A wall of thunderstorms we call a derecho, downing trees and knocking out power across hundreds of miles.
Let's get right to Rob Marciano. And Rob, you're watching those severe storms, the heat in the west, but also some potential relief from that smoke drifting down from Canada.
Yeah, we'll get some relief as we increase the chances for storms and precipitation. We'll show you the computer models, and the haze in this case is blue is bad, and it kind of hangs around, especially at the East Coast, until at least Sunday morning, probably clearing a little bit later after that. All right, let's talk about the heat in the west. We're looking at excessive heat warnings now from Sacramento through Fresno, Phoenix, up until at least Sunday. That's dangerous stuff. And then you add in some humidity in the southeast. Look at these numbers. Temperatures readings in the mid to upper 90s, but you add the humidity 110 or better for places like Memphis and New Orleans, and that's at least through tomorrow, probably Sunday as well. Storms around that heat ridge in St. Louis tonight. Another round coming tomorrow, and then barreling up the Ohio River Valley. Some of those will have damaging winds, not just tomorrow, but again on Sunday, probably Monday as well. We stretch it to the east, Lexington, Charleston, all the way to the Mid-Atlantic, including D.C. and parts of the Northeast Sunday. Wait.
All right, a tough holiday weekend for many, Rob. Thank you. Now to the holiday travel rush and what's expected to be a record weekend. Tens of millions of Americans hitting the roads and the skies. And tonight, the major airlines trying to rebound after bad weather and staffing shortages caused disruptions earlier this week. ABC's Trevor Ault is at Newark Airport.
Tonight, the 4th of July travel rush already off and running for millions of Americans after a nightmarish week at airports with thousands of delays and cancellations from weather and staffing shortages. TSA estimating nearly 18 million people will fly this holiday weekend, with today projected to be the busiest day.
I got up extra early so that, just so if there's any issues with TSA.
We got here early and we expected exactly what we're seeing.
And even more Americans are hitting the road.
Today is really busy. We had to get off 81 and go on some crazy kind of loop-de-loop to get through this stop-and-go traffic.
Experts say drivers will want to take off tomorrow before noon, with the most congestion around 1 p.m. And drivers can take some solace with gas prices now averaging $3.57 a gallon nationwide, down $1.30 from this time last year.
And with tonight, the CEO of United Airlines is facing some criticism in the travel chaos this week. Even he couldn't get a seat on a United flight, so he took a private jet. Well, he's now apologizing for that. He says that was insensitive to the many people who were stuck waiting to get home.
All right, Trevor Ault for us. Thank you. Now to that scathing report on the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. The State Department report saying President Biden shares the blame and detailing mistakes, including the speed of the withdrawal, relying on the Afghan government to hold the Taliban in check, but also handing over Bagram Air Base early on, leaving the Kabul airport as the only way out. The president was asked today if he had made mistakes, answering, "I was right." Now to the crackdown in France after violent protests sparked by the fatal police shooting of a 17-year-old of North African descent. Protesters have clashed with police, set cars on fire, and vandalized shops, hundreds under arrest. ABC's Tom Sufi Burridge is in Paris tonight. Tom, good evening.
Yeah, with violent demonstrations underway in major French cities for a fourth consecutive night. Riots are breaking out right across the country this week after the deadly police shooting of a 17-year-old French boy of North African descent on Tuesday. Prosecutors say the teen was shot after he failed to stop his car when told to do so by police. An officer now under investigation for voluntary homicide. French President Macron calling the riots unacceptable and unjustifiable, blaming social media for spreading copycat violence. Tonight, 45,000 police officers on the streets to try and quell the violence. Whit?
Tom, our thanks to you tonight. Back here at home to the Hollywood cliffhanger, the Actors Union is set to strike at midnight unless they reach a deal with the studios. But with just hours until that deadline, reports that more than 300 members, including Meryl Streep, Jennifer Lawrence, Ben Stiller, and Neil Patrick Harris, are urging their union to stand strong. ABC's Zareen Shah is in Los Angeles.
Tonight, Hollywood bracing for a second strike, this time from some of its biggest movie and TV stars as the deadline nears for contract talks. Rolling Stone reporting that a letter signed by A-list actors Jennifer Lawrence and Meryl Streep, along with hundreds of others, warned their guild SAG-AFTRA that they are prepared to strike if it comes to that. Adding, if we settle for a less than transformative deal, the future of our union and our craft will be undermined. SAG's contract due to expire in mere hours at midnight local time. Tonight, actors tell us streaming has led to shrinking residuals and shorter seasons, meaning less money.
It's a matter of keeping up with the technology. We need to recognize the current trends.
It comes nearly 2 months after thousands of film and TV writers hit the picket lines, shuttering many productions. Comedian Jay Leno hoping for a deal, but supports actors joining the writers in strike.
It would probably move things along. When you're making less money now than you were 15 years ago, well, that can't be right.
And with both groups striking at the same time, that hasn't happened in 6 decades. With no writers, no actors, that could have a seismic impact on entertainment and what all of us watch. Whit?
Zareen Shah, thank you. When we come back, the images coming in, a large fire breaking out on a major studio lot, smoke and flames through the roof, and the insect invasion here in New York.
Needles, essential for sewing Bear Bear, but maybe not for people with rheumatoid arthritis, because there are options, like an injection. Xeljanz, a pill, not an injection. Xeljanz is for adults with moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis. It can help relieve joint pain and swelling, stiffness, and help stop further joint damage. Some saw improvement within 2 weeks. Xeljanz helps some feel SRA fatigue. Xeljanz can lower your ability to fight infections. Before and during treatment, your doctor should check for infections like TB and do blood tests. Tell your doctor if you've had hepatitis B or C, have flu-like symptoms, or are prone to infections. Serious, sometimes fatal infections, cancers, including lymphoma and lung cancer, blood clots, and serious heart-related events have happened. People 50 and older with heart disease risk factors had an increased risk of death. Tears in the stomach or intestines and serious allergic reactions have happened. Needles. Fine for some, but for you, there's a pill that may provide symptom relief. Ask your doctor about Xeljanz.
At Dog Chow, we believe helping dogs live their best life should be simple. That's why Dog Chow is made with high-quality protein and no fillers. Purina Dog Chow. Keep life simple.
The will states that Mr. Marbles will receive everything he needs in perpetuity thanks to auto ship from Chewy.
I always loved that old man.
And he gets the summer house.
What? Save more on what they love and never run out with auto ship from Chewy.
When you really need to sleep, you reach for the really good stuff. ZzzQuil Ultra helps you sleep better and longer when you need it most. It's non-habit forming and powered by the makers of NyQuil. ZzzQuil Ultra, when you really, really need to sleep.
Up at 2 a.m. Again. Tonight, try Pure Z's All Night. Unlike other sleep aids, our extended release melatonin helps you sleep longer and longer. ZzzQuil Pure Z's All Night. Fall asleep, stay asleep.
Tonight, a major fire breaking out on the Warner Brothers lot in Burbank, California. Flames and smoke pouring into the air. A studio spokesperson says a transformer exploded, causing the fire. At least 2 buildings were evacuated. No injuries reported. When we come back, what's bugging millions of New Yorkers?
Dinner!
What? Tween milestones like this may start at age 9. HPV vaccination, a type of cancer prevention against certain HPV-related cancers, can start then too. For most people, HPV clears on its own, but for others, it can cause certain cancers later in life. Embrace this phase. Help protect them in the next. Starting at age 9, talk to your child's doctor about HPV vaccination.
Has your advisor created a portfolio based only on your age and risk tolerance? That's simply not good enough.
At Creative Planning, our private wealth managers learn about you first. Don't settle for a standard portfolio. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com.
Oh, what a good time we will have. You can make it happen.
Voltaren, the joy of movement.
Whether it's your future health, your future income, or your future happiness, becoming an AARP member today can help. Join for just $12 for the first year with automatic renewal and get a second membership free. Plus, you'll receive an insulated trunk organizer. Call or go online today. Because the younger you are, the more you need AARP.
Dude, what are you doing? I'm protecting my car. That's too much work. WeatherTech is so much easier. Laser measured floor liners up here, seat protector and cargo liner back there. Nice. Out here, side window deflectors, and mud flaps, and the bump step to keep the bumper dent free. Cool. It's the best protection for your vehicle, new or pre-owned. Great. But where do I order? WeatherTech.com.
When you have chronic kidney disease, there are places you'd like to be. Like here. And here. Not so much here. If you have chronic kidney disease, Farxiga can help you keep living life. And Farxiga reduces the risk of kidney failure, which can lead to dialysis.
Farxiga can cause serious side effects, including dehydration, urinary tract or genital yeast infections in women and men, and low blood sugar. Ketoacidosis is a serious side effect that may lead to death. A rare, life-threatening bacterial infection in the skin of the perineum could occur. Stop taking Farxiga and call your doctor right away if you have symptoms of this bacterial infection, an allergic reaction, or ketoacidosis.
Farxiga can help you keep living life. Ask your doctor for Farxiga for chronic kidney disease. If you can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
To the index now, as if the smoke wasn't bad enough, there's another issue bugging New Yorkers. Swarms of insects plaguing people in the parks, dining out, and walking the streets. Experts believe they are aphids, definitely a nuisance, but harmless to humans. Their population is booming after an unusually mild winter. When we come back, tributes coming in for beloved actor Alan Arkin.
Moderate to severe eczema still disrupts my skin. Despite treatment, it disrupts my skin with itch. It disrupts my skin with rash. But now, I can disrupt eczema with Rinvoq. Rinvoq is not a steroid, topical, or injection. It's one pill once a day. Many taking Rinvoq saw clear or almost clear skin, while some saw up to 100% clear skin. And they felt dramatic and fast itch relief, some as early as 2 days. That's Rinvoq Relief.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including TB, serious infections and blood clots, some fatal, cancers, including lymphoma and skin cancer, death, heart attack, stroke, and tears in the stomach or intestines occurred. People 50 and older with at least one heart disease risk factor have higher risks. Don't take if allergic to Rinvoq, as serious reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you are or may become pregnant.
Disrupt the itch and rash of eczema. Talk to your doctor about Rinvoq.
Learn how AbbVie can help you save.
Hi, I'm Todd. I'm a veteran of 23 years. I served 3 overseas tours. I love to give back to the community. I offer what I can, when I can. I started noticing my memory was slipping. I saw a Prevagen commercial and did some research on it. I started taking Prevagen about 3 years ago. I feel clearer in my thoughts, my memory has improved, and generally just more on point.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription.
At Avocado, we believe what's better for you is better for the planet. That's why we're so excited to introduce our new radically affordable eco-organic mattress, starting at just $6.99. Crafted with the same incredibly comfortable, certified organic materials you've come to expect from Avocado, but at a price that puts sustainability and a great night's sleep in reach of everyone. Learn more at avocadomattress.com.
My A1C was up here. Now it's down with Rybelsus.
His A1C?
It's down with Rybelsus.
My doctor told me Rybelsus lowered A1C better than a leading branded pill.
And the people taking Rybelsus lost more weight. I got to my A1C goal and lost some weight too.
Rybelsus isn't for people with type 1 diabetes. Don't take Rybelsus if you or your family ever had medullary thyroid cancer or have multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2 or if allergic to it. Stop Rybelsus and get medical help right away if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or an allergic reaction. Serious side effects may include pancreatitis. Gallbladder problems may occur. Tell your provider about vision problems or changes. Taking Rybelsus with a sulfonylurea or insulin increases low blood sugar risk. Side effects like nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea may lead to dehydration, which may worsen kidney problems.
Need to get your A1C down?
You may pay as little as $10 per prescription.
He was tall, dark, and handsome. High-lived Jewish doctor. A big catch.
Good God, this guy was a psychopath. Cold, calculated murderer.
You must have been blown away.
I was.
2020, tonight on ABC.
Finally tonight, remembering actor Alan Arkin.
Big Bud, known for his versatility and dry wit.
Yes. They're Russian.
A nice little bud. Actor Alan Arkin appeared in more than 100 movies. He played memorable roles in both comedy and drama, earning his first Oscar nomination for his debut film, the Cold War comedy The Russians Are Coming. He played a Russian submarine officer. Please not to be afraid. We are nobody. Arkin began his career as a stage performer, an original member of the Second City comedy troupe in Chicago, later cast by fellow Second City alum Mike Nichols to star in his adaptation of Catch-22.
In order to be grounded, I've got to be crazy. And I must be crazy to keep flying. But if I have to be grounded, that means I'm not crazy anymore and I have to keep flying. You've got it. That's Catch-22.
In Little Miss Sunshine, he played a grandfather in a dysfunctional family.
You are the most beautiful girl in the whole world.
Yeah, you're just saying that.
No, I'm not. I'm madly in love with you.
That performance earning Arkin his first and only Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor.
I'm deeply moved by the open-hearted appreciation our small film has received.
From playing a mild-mannered dentist in the crime comedy The In-Laws.
The central piece of evidence in the biggest federal crime since the atomic spy case is sitting in my basement. You want to know why I'm getting excited?
That the MGM deal ain't gonna happen.
To a Hollywood producer in the movie Argo.
The way it looks to me, through the cataracts I grant you, is that you can either sign here and take $10,000 for your toilet paper script.
Arkin's career spanning 7 decades. His son saying in a statement, "Our father was a uniquely talented force of nature, both as an artist and a man. A loving husband, father, grand, and great-grandfather. He was adored and will be deeply missed." Alan Arkin was 89.
And we are thinking about his family tonight, a major loss out of Hollywood. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Wade Johnson in New York. For David and all of us here, good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.